Well, Mike, we're obviously talking to you ahead of the women's season. How are you and how's the pre-season fixtures gone so far?
Yeah, it's gone very well, very positive so far, especially being in a bit of a transitional stage. I think most of the girls that have come on board, either as a trial or coming in to impress, have been brilliant. So really enjoyed it. I think we're round about halfway through it at the moment. So a couple of signings this week, so that's very good for us. So we're really pleased with that. And yeah, we're just looking forward to the game against Swansea on Sunday.
Looking into the pre-season results and preparations, how have those gone from a women's team perspective?
Yeah, they've gone okay, not fantastic, but also not a disaster. I've just expected maybe a couple more signings in by now, so I'm a little bit disappointed that we've missed out on them. However, the girls that have come in and played have done great. There's a couple of things that have taken over training, so in that respect, a certain couple of things that we needed to work on, we haven't. But in saying that, we had a little bit of a hiding by Wolves, which was probably to be expected, but then played really well against Sutton Coldfield, and that was a really good test for us. So to get a result against them is very good, even though we always say at this time of year it's not about the results, it's about performances, getting fit and everything like that. So we're reasonably happy, but we could be in a better place, if I'm honest.
I suppose talking about the Wolves result, obviously, of course, for those sort of tests, they're important to sort of expect expectation and also, challenge yourself against those sort of oppositions as well.
Yeah, I think so, and I know Macca well, the Wolves manager, and he's agreed to play us, and for them it was important that they got a good workout and that they were physically on the right way. For us, it was to see how far we are behind a team like that. So we're always expecting to probably lose 8 or 9 against a team like that. But in saying that, it's a good little marker for us to see where we want to be and where we want to go. I think Macca's been there probably about 6 years now, so he's well and truly got his feet under the table, and he knows what he wants, what the players he wants, the player profiling that he does. And we're in the stage of trying to walk before we can run at the moment, and so we have to sort of temper down expectation, but at the same time not be embarrassed to say, look, we want to try and get in that top 3 if we possibly can for this season.
Of course, on a positive note, a number of contract renewals and new signings have been announced and over the last few weeks. What will these players bring, and how can you expect them to expect and prepare expectations into next season?
I think with the girls that have re-signed, people like Annie Colson and Gypsy and Sky and Emily McGrogan, and I'm definitely going to leave 1 or 2 out of this, which they're not going to be happy about. So, but they've been fantastic. They've been good in the transition, and people like Sky Hull as well that have I've seen them play in the last month of the season, and they've been absolutely fantastic. So they give us a little bit of quality. They're definitely players that we're thinking that they can step up into Tier 3, and that's the whole point why we've retained them. And they've got a lot of ability, and we're just hoping that bears fruit over the next season.
And of course, Georgia Clifford joins as a player coach. Tell us a bit more about her role and what she'll bring.
Well, I just think it's a fantastic signing because not just as a player but as a person, she's a great role model. She's somebody that I think the rest of the team can look up to. Even a couple of weeks ago, we came in early and she was already in the gym and she was working out. And, it just says a lot about her, the way she is professionally, and that she's got high standards. And I think from my point of view, it's great to have her on board as a player coach. We'll definitely be looking at her as a centre half, but also maybe as a bit of a CDM. And the only slight worry for her is that obviously she's getting over a knee injury, so we've got to be a bit careful with the way that we don't just chuck her in and play her 90 minutes. So we've been building that up over the last couple of weeks, and she seems happy with that. And we're very happy with her, so we're just protecting her a little bit at the moment, and hopefully that will bear fruit for the next season as well.
What else has gone into the preparations for next season that you feel give you the edge and deliver improvements next season?
I think we've recruited Rich Wood. He was at Cheltenham Town last year. He's coming as first team coach and in charge of recruitment as well. We've got Abs come on board now as a physio. We've got Dave Tomlinson, who's the goalkeeping coach, and we've got Samir Small, who's come in as the analysis guy. It'd be lovely to have a sports scientist. At the moment we're not quite in that position to do that, but between the sort of 3 or 4 of us, we're gradually doing that. But I think the edge is everybody mixing in and not being afraid to go that extra yard with doing the extra 2 or 3 hours, either analysis or coaching or watching through games, seeing what we're good at, what we're not so good at. So yeah, we're in a good position, I think, to progress the club at the moment.
Of course, another person is Mandy Coe. Of course, she's played a big part in the sort of redevelopment and the progression of the women's team. Can you just tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, I think we've got to say a big thank you to Mandy, because she's come in as the chairwoman or the chairperson, and she's been absolutely fantastic. Dave supported her husband as well. I know they do a lot with the male team, but it's lovely to get that little bit of security and somebody who knows what they're doing. She's fantastic for me because obviously she does everything that is off the pitch. We've also got Tom Hartley, who's come in as technical director, and Tom's doing bits and bobs with the 18s and the 21s with Chi and Gary. So we're hoping that between those 3 or 4 people, that the players that are going to get passed through to me over the next couple of seasons are going to be of a quality and a standard which we want.
Of course, as well, as we look to sort of bring the men's and the women's teams all together as Swindon Town United, your role in the PFA brings that into the first team with some of the players doing the coaching and the coaching badges there. Can you tell us a bit more about that as well? Yeah,
I mean, in my day job, I've been working with Gav and Charlie Austin, getting them through their UEFA B, and they've been absolutely fantastic. They've been good guys to work with. They've been very conscientious. They're very personable, and obviously all their communication skills are great. But their knowledge of football is been astounding to me. So for working with them and seeing where they want to go and what they want to get to with the first team environment is absolutely fantastic. So any help that I can be with them in the future, obviously, it goes without saying about helping them and supporting them going forward. But they've been tremendous on their own, and they're definitely 2 shining stars of the future, I think, coaching and management.
Of course, you've got the pre-season friendly against Swansea at the weekend, and obviously the season just around the corner. For those who are looking to come along and support the women's team, what message can you give to those?
I just think, we've got to be realistic where we want to be. We've got to walk before we can run, and I think that we're trying very hard to recruit some good, entertaining footballers, and we need to structure that and play a profile that. We've been a bit disappointed this week because we've missed out on 2 signings, but we've got a couple of signings with Georgia Clifford and Holly Randall. And also we've got Holly Beck-Essen, who's an absolutely fantastic player as well. So with every yin, there's a little bit of a yang, and we've definitely we're positive about those signings that we've taken, but we're a little bit disappointed with the other couple that we didn't get this week. So we have to sort of dust ourselves down and then crack on with trying to look for somebody else now.
Of course, all those new players that are coming in as well, it gives the fans, more exciting new players to hopefully come down, watch and support the team. Yeah,
and I just think it takes a little bit of a while to gel and to get to understand, the way that we message, passing and working with people. We've done a little bit, for example, on the back 4 the other day. And it was just about narrowing up and being difficult to break down, but the players that we had involved with that training session on that night did very, very well, and we might have a couple of games this season where we're struggling a little bit for possession, and we need to make sure that we know what to do when we haven't got the ball. So that was very pleasing for me, because we're not coming in every 10 seconds and saying you're not doing this and that, and actually the girls are picking it up really well. But with everything, it takes a bit of time. So like I said before, we've got to learn to walk before we can run. But I'm reasonably pleased with it at the moment.
Hopefully, obviously, the more success we provide next season, the more fans will come along, and the more improvements we'll see as a whole on that as well.
Yeah, definitely, and even with the Sutton Coldfield pre-season friendly, I think we had about sort of 80, 90 people turn up, and that is brilliant for us, to where we were over the previous couple of pre-seasons. So for us, we just want to generate as much excitement and interest as we possibly can, and I think that the way that we're recruiting at the moment, it might take a little bit of time, but I think we've got the making of a really good team.